Hey guys, welcome to the next tutorial of ethical hacking and penetration testing via Kali Linux. So in the previous tutorials we saw or we had a look at gathering information of a particular target or a particular host. So it could be just that gather information. You can also go ahead and gather information via social engineering, or you can go ahead and simply gather information through the techniques that I have shown you previously, that is through using Whois and DNSDict, DNSEnum, or the DNS mapping, and even the harvester to go ahead and gather the IP addresses as well as the emails. So the next step after you go ahead and gather information would be to analyze the information and then attack the specific party. So how are we going to do that exactly? There are two ways of doing that. One is through social engineering, and the another aspect of approach would be to go ahead and directly attack using the viruses or worms or trojans that you have created by yourself. So but there is still one question in mind, that using technical knowledge to go ahead into hacking, it is good, but still it's not that easy, because you never know what kind of information are you going to give out while you're going to go ahead and target the attack. Or let's say if the person has IDS already and you go ahead and try to create some malware, and if the IDS, that is intrusion detection system, go ahead and picks up your antivirus, then your virus will be caught and you may not be able to perform the attack. And that can be quite complicated to go ahead and write down program each time you have to go ahead and attack different companies or different persons. So at that point of time, social engineering comes in place. So as you can see, the definition that I have found somewhere on the internet, that your softwares that have been created by any person or any software engineer, they can be applied patches, but there is no patch for human stupidity. So that is social engineering. You go ahead, try to use your charm or your techniques to, or your information, to go ahead and gather much more information by you going ahead and calling them or using emails through phishing and other techniques to go ahead and gather information. Social engineering is a very vast term. It consists of technicalities as well as non-technicalities as well. So what exactly is social engineering? So in this tutorial today, I will be taking you through what is social engineering, what are the different types of social engineering. So there are 5 different types: baiting, phishing, quid pro quo, pretexting, and diversion theft, which is normally conning people, and what would be the ways to go ahead and prevent them. So these are which I would be teaching you today. So to start with, what is social engineering? It starts with human interaction. Attacker uses human interaction to go and obtain or compromise specific information. The attacker may be a respectable person, and you may not even know that the person is trying to be what you may not even have thought of. Attacker may appear unassuming or respectable, or he may even pretend to be a new employee, repairman, or an old boss of your trying to gather information. He may even offer credentials to go for a new network that he has created, something like that, so that he might try to fool you, something like that. And the final thing would be to assembling all the pieces together. So by asking enough questions, the attacker may piece information together to infiltrate a company network. He may even attempt to gather information from many sources, so that when you ask him any question, he may be able to go ahead and give you out any specific answer that he wants, so that you will be confident enough to give him out the details that he wants. So Kevin Mitnick he's the most famous social engineer of all time. He was dubbed as the most dangerous hacker in the world. So as you can see, it's written on his shirt that I am not a hacker, I am a security professional. That was after he was convicted in jail. He always used to tell that people are mostly helpful, especially to someone who is nice, knowledgeable, or insistent. So for example, I'm just walking down the lane and there's some person who has some kind of problem. I will, without any hesitant, I will surely go ahead and try to help him out. But that is not always good, because the person who is over there standing, who is in some kind of problem, who is a damsel in distress, he may not even be a damsel in distress. He may even be the attacker who is trying to attack us. And Kevin Mitnick's, let's say, Kevin Mitnick used his social engineering skills, or he was even called as a phone freak. He used that to go ahead and gather as much information as he could, and Later, he was caught. He stole billions of dollars just through phone phreaking. And phone phreaking means just calling the third party and asking him some specific questions by you being a legitimate party, or convincing the third party that you are a legitimate party. So Mitniff was even told that asked to go ahead and put in a solitary confinement because the lawyer even convinced the judge that he had the ability to start a nuclear war by whistling into a payphone. So that's not, this may be a bit exaggerated, but you never know, because as he was told that the USA itself was behind Kevin Mitnick for a very long time. And the worst part of it was that whenever he was about to get caught, but he was not caught, or he narrowly escaped some situation, he always used to leave donuts for the cops over there, just to tease them. Or so he was a very, not only a good phone phreaker, but he was also very good in escaping things. So this is how he was. So he hardly used all of his knowledge to go ahead and attack or social engineer. He only used most of the time social engineering to go ahead and gather information. So he even has his own book named as Art of Deception. So these are the few points that he always told on each and every conference that he had. People always want to be helpful, and that's why they are easily being targeted. So what the hackers do are that they try to gain a level of trust in order to avoid any conflict between the person. And finally, when the party has enough trust in the third party or in the hacker, it's all about gaining access to information that people think that is not that important. So let's say, for example, I go ahead and I call you. Let's assume that you are staying in United States, and so I go ahead and call you and I gather information such as your name, your addresses, your data. I will say that I'm calling you from, let's say, for example, or let's take an example of India over here. I'll just go ahead and call you and I'll tell you that I'm calling you from the census department, and we are trying to gather information about how much person lives in a family, how many persons live in a family. So you can just give me out their names and the date of birth, and you'll think that, oh yeah, no problem, what's the problem in giving a date of birth? So you'll just go ahead and tell all of your names, give out your date of birth, and the person may even ask for email ID just so that you can go ahead and register you. You may even give that out, and when you ask any question related to any census, human census population, he may even give you that out. But what you don't know is that as soon as you go ahead and give the information, he's just going ahead and entering all of those things under your net banking or your phone banking technique, whatever you use, and he will straight away go ahead and use, let's say, for example, the forgot password option in your net banking, and he will easily go ahead and gain your all your details about your credit cards or debit cards, or even your bank status, as whether it's overdrawn or you have sufficient funds in your account, which is, according to me, quite risky. So and the worst part is that, let's say, for example, you are a male, and if a lady calls you, then humans always have a tendency that if a lady calls, then automatically they have a soft corner for them, and they always want to be helpful for the girl. They will never hang up on any specific girl. And so whenever you hear a nice voice on the phone, you always want to be helpful, and that is not as good. So you need to be sure, you need to be smart as to what the person in front of you, what is actually his achieving, trying to achieve. So social engineering cannot be blocked by technology alone, or I can say it can never be blocked by technology, because the only fault that in social engineering would be of the person, not of any specific company. And when you say social engineering cannot be blocked by technology, you may always need to make sure that you are smart and you're not going to give out any information even to any random party. And people nowadays don't normally think much of that, because let's say, for example, people normally go ahead and create their accounts on Facebook, and they give out all the information on Facebook, such as where they live and what their phone numbers are, what's their email ID, or even the pics they take, that gives such much information about what this person likes, how does it wear. So that can be went ahead and created a specific amount of information. They can be used to go ahead and create virtual personality of your, and anyone can go ahead and think in your way and try to gain information on your behalf. So that is one way of going ahead and getting information. So that would be it for this tutorial. In the next tutorial, I'll be starting with the types of social engineering and how can you go ahead and defend them.